Hi everybody, this is a red and white Arcane Bombardment deck that wants to reuse or copy all of our powerful instants and sorceries that we've got going on here. It's kind of nice that we get Chandra, Hope's Beacon. She kind of functions as a secondary win condition and mirrors a lot of the functionality of Arcane Bombardment. She goes in a lot of similarly styled decks, definitely favors a more spell slingery, instant and sorcery heavy kind of style. So let's take a look at this deck and kind of see how it all fits together. Now, as you can see on the low end, we've got a whole bunch of instants and sorceries, all kind of in the same vein and a little situational in their own right. Got some lightning strikes and some abrades, some removal for artifacts and just general usage damage. Sunset Revelry can do a lot of different things on its own. We're trying 2 copies of Sunder the Gateway. This is a nice flexible card in that we can use it on an empty board with no targets, or it functions as some artifact and enchantment removal with a little incubate after effect. We're also running 2 copies of Destroy Evil for even more enchantment removal. One deck I've been seeing a lot of lately on the ladder is green and white enchantments, the Resurgence, and so this is nice to have in our back pocket and save some of our late game win conditions. We're also running a few copies of Union of the Third Path for draw, Geistflame Reservoir since it's nice to invest in and control the board with its damage effect. We're also running 2 copies of Into the Fire. Now, I really like this card. This is a new March of the Machine card. It's got a couple of modes, and anytime you see a card with a choose one mode on it like this one, it's going to go nice in an Arcane Bombardment deck where you never quite know what your board state is going to be and what effects you might need. So being able to choose between 2 of them, it's always nice to have under there. So we can either do 2 damage to each thing on the board, or we can put any number of cards from our hand onto the bottom of our library and then draw that many cards plus 1. So it's a little bit of a different effect from like a Fable of the Mirror Breaker or something like that. And it actually feels really good to draw that 1 extra card. Somehow makes this card feel even better than it probably is. Looking over here in the 4 drops, we've got 4 copies of Big Score, of course. We're trying out 2 copies of Sunfall. This is pairing up with Burn Down the House as our board wipe, but honestly, in a future version of this deck, I might up this to 4 copies of Sunfall. It exiles all creatures, doesn't just destroy them, and then gives us a nice incubate bonus on the back end. Now, as you notice, we've been running Sunder the Gateway in the beginning, and so once we're incubating these kind of big incubator tokens, we can use the secondary mode on this card to just transform whichever one we want. Now, Sunfall is great and wonderful to repeat. We're running Burn Down the House as well as kind of our board wipe devil creator. We're trying out a copy of Quintorius Loremaster in here because Quintorius also fits in kind of that spell slingery style of deck. It wants to remove a non-creature, non-land cards from our graveyard, and we've got tons of those. Never actually got to play him or try him out, but he seems to fit right in, and he's probably going to work out a little better for us than the new Urabrask, which you'll see we originally had a couple of copies of him in this deck before switching him out later on. Your mileage may vary, so give it a try if you want to, but Urabrask was just okay. Looking at the top end, of course, we've got Arcane Bombardment and Chandra, Hope's Beacon. Chandra is going to be Arcane Bombardment's new best friend and probably one of my favorite cards going forward. Does a lot of the similar things that I'm looking for out of Arcane Bombardment and is super flexible in giving us extra mana, copying things, and finding the next thing to cast off the top of our library. Of course, we've got the usual dual lands plus a few Roadside Reliquary. So let's get over and see a few games with this deck over in the ranked standard ladder. I'll be with you for some commentary, but as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. All right, starting off here, we've got some lands, got some things to do. Always a good sign. Excited to try out Sunfall here. New board wipe in white from March of the Machine. Love that we finally get a exiling board wipe that's not farewell. Doesn't feel nearly as bad to play against. All right, opponent starting off with the classic Proliferate effect, Voidwing Hybrids. We're going to Lightning Strike that. We draw a Big Score, so we'll get down land number 3. We're going to go right into Union here, since our opponent loves to run mana leak style effects that make us pay a little bit more for our cards. Got to sneak in that card draw where you can. Okay, and they're going for Mercurial Spelldancer, so we're just going to Big Score right away. Not going to wait until their turn. Well, yeah, let's discard Big Score here. I was thinking about Sunder the Gateway, but Sunder the Gateway you can cast whenever, pretty much like Big Score, except it's a little bit cheaper. Opponent's got a Venser. Yeah, see, they're not holding up any mana right now for the counter magic effect that loves poison counters. So let's go ahead and run Arcane Bombardment into him. This looks to be a more low-to-the-ground version, a few more creatures than I've seen before. All right, they're going to hit us with a Serum Snare, so it's not destroyed. Bombardment just goes back to our hand. Opponent attacks for 3 damage here. We draw a nice burn down the house, though. That's going to be great later on. We're just going to rerun Bombardment. Hope they don't have anything for it. Okay, opponent's going to Experimental Augury. Take a look at the top 3. Found something that they like. We're going to get an additional poison counter, and that's going to trigger Venser and the graveyard effect of Voidwing Hybrid, bringing that back to their hand. Alright, getting in for some extra damage there. Sunfall might be the way to go with this Voidwing Hybrid once it comes down, but I think we can go ahead and just fire one off now. We'll reuse it again with Bombardment later on, and we'll catch him then. We pick up big scores. Let's discard big score to go with our big score. Sunfall goes off, exiles 3 creatures. So we're going to incubate a bit. Nope, don't want to cycle that. Nope, thought we could play that. Never mind. Jetmir's Garden, you'll wait for next turn. So now if our opponent Voidwings, we can... Alright, they're going to Serum Snare. Well, I think we just let that happen. Let's see what to do next. Could incubate, but how many more Serum Snares can they have, right? I think we just slam it again and go for it, and should be fine. Arcane Bombardment again. Okay, opponent scoops it up. Good game. All right, trying again with Boros Arcane Bombardment here. Last opponent scooped, but I'm feeling pretty good. Got some good cards in here. Seems decently solid. We're going to get land number 2 down. Opponent's got a Bank Buster going, so the question is this some kind of control deck? Are we in for a miserably long experience? Hopefully not. We're up to 3 here. Into the fire, not an instant. So we're going to have to wait on that one. Opponent just draws with the Bank Buster. Goes Mirex into Bank Buster number 2. Well, let's Union here. Get something down in the graveyard. There's Bombardment. Go with our Chandra we've already got in our hand. Land number 4 means we can hopefully wait on a big score on our opponent's next turn here. Opponent with a Tranquil Cove. They're going to pass. Let's big score, and I think let's discard Into the Fire. All right, no counter. That's always a juicy counterspell target for any opponent. We're going to go land number 5 and just slam Bombardment since they had no counter for big score. They're going to Memory Deluge. Okay. So no counter on hand, but they could go digging for a Destroy Evil or some kind of removal for this. Jin-Gitaxias, the new one with no title. All right. Well, I don't want our opponent drawing any more cards than they're already doing. We can start activating Bombardment right now. Into the fire. Okay, that's what we pick up. Let's try the card mode. We'll put back 2 on the bottom. Doesn't matter what order. Oh, and we pick up 3? That's nice. I wish that were an instant. That is nice. And we get Sunder the Gateway. Invasion of Arcavios from the opponent. Love an effect that can go to the sideboard for any card you want. Oh, and they're going to pick up Farewell. Opponent is a fan of 20-minute games over here. So let's Lightning Strike the opponent's face. Get an activation out of our Bombardment at the end of their turn. We pick up Union, so let's Into the Fire and Union. Union draws us a card. We're up to 31. Let's recycle this Reliquary, and we draw 2. Lightning Strike goes off, brings our opponent to 19. There's old Urabrask here. Well, I mean, if Bombardment's good and it slips through, why not Chandra too? Opponent activates Bankbuster. They get a pilot out of it. Chandra comes down. Well, let's add 2 mana. Red and... You're in the way, Chandra. White. There we go. Let us... I think this will work. Sunder the Gateway. Choose the first mode. Destroy the artifact. That'll be copied from Chandra, so we can destroy the other Bankbuster. We'll incubate once. And we pick up Burn Down the House with Bombardment. Sure. We will cast that, but I think we want Devils here. Union, of course, and then into the fire. We're going to recycle some things. Just this land. Make that a nice discard 1, draw 2. So, hand is full. Bankbusters are down. We're incubating away over here. We've got plenty of Devils. We're just going to attack here. Chandra with such a high starting loyalty that we don't really care if that pilot can attack. Have yet to see a good invasion of Arcavios deck. Opponent with the Farewell, finally, but they can't touch Chandra. So we've still kind of got our engine in place, even though we lost Bombardment. Think we might Urabrask here, but it might be worth just keeping up copyable spells that we can get like 2 effects out of every turn. She's very similar to Bombardment in that way, that you can like structure your turns to get the biggest benefit on each turn.
We can do this together.
Out of the way there. We need mana. Okay. Let's Sunder the Gateway. We're going to incubate. Chandra will copy that. And it flips over each one. Now, I think we can Urabrask and still... We've got mana up for our opponent's turn, so we can do a spell there too. Opponent trying again with a Jin Gataxius. Alrighty. Let's double Union. Triggers Urabrask. We get a mana. Alright, that's 2 Unions. We get a replacement copy of Bombardment. That's nice. We're up to 49 life. We pick up Destroy Evil, too. I think we can do that. I think the ward on Jin is 2. So let's destroy target creature with big toughness. Triggers Urabrask. Let's resolve that. So I think I'm going to pay that. Chandra's going to copy that. We're going to do it again, just to be sure. Most expensive removal we've ever done. Opponent's like, what is this person doing? Paying the ward twice. I don't know. It made sense at the time. Alright, we attack. Of course, the opponent has Wandering Emperor. That's why they were keeping mana open. Urabrask is down. We still attack for 4 with our 2 Incubator tokens. What do we do here? I guess it's mana for now. So adding 2, if we big score, let's discard Into the Fire. Picks us some cards, and we get enough mana to do anything on our opponent's next turn that we want to from our available instance. Lightning Strike, maybe a Union. Yep, yeah, we got a good engine now. Good game. All right, back for another one with this kind of Boros Arcane Bombardment deck. We pick up Chandra right away, although we're still several turns off of casting her. Oh, another opponent playing blue. We get a double copy of Chandra. It's not really what we need right now, deck. Opponent with Wedding Announcement. Now that is an enchantment that does something. Let's get land number 3 down. Keep up this Abrade or Lightning Strike. Opponent pays for a full price Jace the Perfected Mind. They're going to mill us. Okay. Draws them a card too. Well, let's go ahead and Lightning Strike Jace then. I'm a little suspicious of anybody who mills us straight off the bat. I don't know, could be some proliferation coming. We're going to get Urabrask on our side of the board now that we've got 4 mana. If they eliminate it, that's fine. Then the way is clear for our Burn Down the House, which will then pave the way for Chandra. Nope, nothing more from the opponent. So they've got an army of 2/2s, thanks to their flipped wedding announcement. Let's attack in with Urabrask and see if we can get him to kind of clear out some of these tokens for us. Nope, opponent just takes the 4. We'll get down land number 5 and just pass it on back. Broker's Charm, using that to draw 2 at the end of our turn. Okay, that's one thing to keep in mind that can get rid of our bombardment as the opponent plays Boseiju. Tamiyo from the opponent. Okay, so they're going to tap down Urabrask. And Abrade can't hit Planeswalkers. Alright, we draw land. We can Chandra here. I think we're going to add mana. We can double Abrade. That's going to help keep Chandra safe. We'll get a few triggers out of Urabrask here. Oh no, just the one. Just the one. I guess he only triggers off the original casting of the spell, not the copy. Okay, so opponent attacks Chandra, but she's only down to 5 loyalty. Love that she's very resilient off the bat. Opponent with Wedding Announcement number 2 as they tap down Urabrask again. Let's add some mana. And burn down the house, I think on Devils, to preserve Chandra a little bit. We'll have 4 mana left for next turn when we can maybe double up a burn down the house. And now let's just send all the Devils over at Tamiyo. Yep, we need to get rid of Tamiyo. You can block all you want to, but we've got plenty of Devils for the job. Gets her down low enough that we can think about getting her off the board as soon as possible. Sure, yeah, take a couple of stabs at Chandra. Opponent gets in for 4. And a depopulate. Well, that should be the finishing touch that we need to get rid of their Tamiyo. So we'll send 1 point of damage there, the rest at our opponent's face. And we've still got Chandra around to keep copying these spells. Okay, Devil Triggers kind of cleans up their board, just leaving them with Wedding Announcement. Let's get in our doubled up big score here. And yeah, that's a lot of value. Good game. All right, well, we've got all of our win conditions in hand. Just need to draw those lands. Come on, land number 4 for big score. Another blue and white opponent. Wonder if they're playing the Invasion of Arcavios too. It's, I don't know, it's tough for me to brainstorm a deck that goes into. I love pulling stuff out of the sideboard, but the prospect of then being able to attack that battle for 7, I don't know. Let's into the fire here. All right. Oh. Well, let's do this, and then I'll read that card. Let's put back 2 ones that we don't really want to cast. We draw 3. All right, we got plenty of lands. Protect the Negotiators. It's based on number of creatures, and they have no creatures. Ah, but they do now. Invasion of Segovia. I've heard good things about this one. We will play land number 4. See about big scoring, perhaps. Let's see. Oh, it gives things Convoke. Could be dangerous. All right, so they will attack the battle with their 2 tokens, bring that down to 2. Let's big score and discard Jetmir's Garden. Oh, nothing but lands for us. That's a little rough. We pick up just an Abrade. All right. Well, if we get down Bombardment, there's no mana left to do anything, and they're going to flip this battle. So I think it's Chandra. Chandra is in play. Let's just do a little bit of damage. We can do that for what? One loyalty? And we can save Abrade for activating Bombardment next turn, since we're kind of short on spells at the moment. We pick up Sunset Revelry. That's not bad. All right, so Chandra, give us some mana. Just go red and white. Let's get Sunset Revelry. We'll copy that. That should draw us some cards. Give us a few tokens at least. All right. Let's just pass it on over. Meeting of the Minds. All right. Convoke into drawing some cards. Felt like they had a counter there, but maybe we should have just gone for Bombardment instead. Opponent with a Sunset Revelry of their own. Probably good in a Convoke-based deck. Looking like they want to attack here. They're going to attack the battle. Well, let's trade a token. Don't want them to get the advantage of that battle. It probably enables their whole deck. Wedding Announcement will flip. Makes all of their tokens bigger. We have so many lands right now. We can Bombardment, but then we've got nothing to do unless we activate Chandra. So let's get some mana out of her. Just take red so we don't have to move her out of the way. All right, we're going to play Bombardment. Oh, do you have a Protect the Negotiators now? That's a Make Disappear. But it's a regular Make Disappear. Okay, so we'll pay the 2. Yes. All right. Well, even if they would have sacked a creature there, we still could have paid the extra 2. We just wouldn't have had mana left for a spell. All right. We've got 3 things down there for Bombardment. Let's cast Abrade. See what we pick up here. We'll copy Abrade with Chandra. So we know 2 creatures are guaranteed gone. We get Sunset Revelry with Bombardment. Get some more tokens. And, yep, no attacks since their creature is bigger than ours. Another Sunset Revelry makes some big creature tokens for them. Still trying to attack that battle. Well, the more they attack it, the more ardently I will defend that. We pick up Jetmir's Garden. All right. Well, opponent sees the writing on the wall. Good game. All right. We've got another one here. Finally starting one off with Geistflame Reservoir in hand. Excuse me. Sunder the Gateway. Really enjoying that card. Nice flexible removal or create a incubator creature token. One with a Kami of Transience. The Sunder could come in handy there. We're going to lay land number 3 and go Geistflame Reservoir. Start making some investments in Bombardment. Generous visitor from the opponent. Okay, Jukai Naturalist. Some things are going to get some counters for sure. And opponent attacks for 3. Alright, well, we've got 4 mana. We could big score, or we could do 2 of our smaller spells. Let's big score now. We're going to discard Sunder. We pick up an extra bombardment. And I think we're going to Abrade the Naturalist. So we've got to burn down the house in hand. My thinking here is that it doesn't make sense to get rid of the Kami yet. If we can get them to play out 1 or 2 more things, they shouldn't be able to get their creatures too much larger, and we can do a nice board wipe. All right, we are going to take a little damage, though, to do that. Hopefully it's worth it. Opponent attacks for 7. We go down to 10. We'll play land number 5, do a little burn down the house. Building up our reservoir, hopefully take care of some of these small creatures. As our opponent's probably going to replay a Kami, maybe a Weaver. Nope, just a Kami and a Companion. Keeps the cards flowing. Well, let's lay a Arcane Bombardment here. I don't think they can get this Kami too much bigger without a Naturalist on the board. Okay, they find a second Kami. 3 mana left. There's a Commune with the Spirits. Could find you some way to get rid of this. There's a Weaver. Weaver comes down. It is an enchantment, so that's going to make their Kami bigger and the Companion bigger. We take 6 and drop to 4. Ooh. The odds of us picking up Bombardment is 1 in 4. Well, I think we got to do it. Let's big score, discarding Bombardment. It'll at least pump up the reservoir. Okay, Sunder the Gateway. Well, the Weaver is an enchantment. That's the most dangerous one, so let's get rid of that. Incubate. Big score goes off. We get a Lightning Strike and another Sunder. So we've got some counters on the reservoir to take care of something. We've got enough mana for a Lightning Strike or a Sunder. Opponent casts Generous Visitor. Touch the Spirit Realm. Don't know if that can hit Bombardment, but it's going to put some counters on some creatures for sure. Looks like they're going to target the Kami with Generous Visitor. So in that case, let's use the reservoir. They know about this, so let's use it. Get rid of the Kami that they're targeting with that. So that means now we can get rid of this Kami before it puts a counter on itself with a Lightning Strike. That'll trigger Bombardment. Let's see what we get here. Oh, we get burned down the house anyway. And we got Sunder the Gateway, too. All right, well, let's make a token. We're going to burn down the house also on tokens. Let's see. All right, so Sunder. We incubate and flip it over. I forgot they do get the choice to touch the Spirit Realm. All right, they take our reservoir, though. All right. Well, I think going the token creature route is going to be good for us. We're going to use Sunder the Gateway again. Take care of that touch the Spirit Realm. Arcane Bombardment will happen. We're going to big score away this garden. Burn down the house. Get some more devils happening. And Sunder. Let's destroy the dog, and opponents had enough. Yeah, good game.